Hi, this is Coach Colette, host of the Start Within podcast, and welcome to another episode of Financial Fridays. I really hope that you are staying healthy and grounded and well. We are continuing our focus on Women's History Month for the month of March. This week, I'm excited because I came across this powerhouse woman on the Smithsonian website. I'd say that our topic would be more focused on activism this week. So Zitkala Sa, which means Redbird in Lakota, was born on February 22nd, 1876 on the Yankton Indian Reservation in South Dakota. She was a Yankton Dakota Sioux writer, editor, translator, musician, educator, and political activist. She has been noted as one of the most influential Native American activists of the 20th century. In her work, The School Days of an Indian Girl, she described both her misery of having her heritage stripped away when she was at school and was forced to pray as a Quaker and to cut her traditionally long hair. She also took joy, though, in learning how to read and write and to play the violin, which is near and dear to my heart because I also played the violin in high school. In 1913, Zitkala Sa wrote the libretto and songs for the Sundance Opera, the first Native American opera. It was composed in a romantic musical style and also was based on Sioux and Ute cultural themes. In her well-known American Indian stories, she expressed a literary account of her life and delivered a political message. The narrative shows her tension between wanting to follow her native traditions and balancing that with what she was learning in terms of reading and writing. She lectured nationwide to promote the cultural and tribal identity of Native Americans. During the 1920s, she promoted a pan-Indian movement to unite all of America's tribes in the cause of lobbying for citizenship rights. She continued to work for civil rights and better access to health care and education for Native Americans until her death in 1938. So thank you, Zitkala Sa, for being such an inspiration to Native American women and women throughout the country. As a fellow violin player, I also salute you, and I'm so excited to have learned about your story during this Women's History Month. I hope she has inspired you as well.
Hello everyone, this is Singh, aka Investing of the Investing Podcast, with your weekly Financial Friday tip. With the recent market volatility, now is the best time to make sure you're sticking with your financial plan, or it's the best time, if you don't have a financial plan, to create one for yourself that's going to get you through these hard times, and one that you're able to stick with regardless of what happens in the outside world. The market volatility has been high, however, don't let it distract you from following your plan, alright? With that said, that is your weekly Financial Friday tip, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, it's Coach Colette again. It seems we've got a little bit of a pattern here, me coming back with another message for you. Well, the other day, one of my BFF ride or die friends said, hey, maybe your next podcast can be about fear, given all that we are dealing with this outbreak. And I thought, yeah, that could be a good thing. And sure enough, the universe gave me an opportunity to get real up close and personal with my own fears. I was in a sound bath, a virtual sound bath, which is when there are gongs and other sound instruments being used to create a sense of healing and relaxation. So I was in a semi-meditative state during this, and all of a sudden I felt the wave of fear combined with a bit of sadness. And since I was in a more relaxed state, I didn't necessarily resist it as much. I kind of sat with the feeling. I guess part of the fear was my own physical health and well-being, and then just kind of a sadness for what all of us are going through. And you know what's interesting, because we've talked about fear on this podcast. You can actually search. We actually have an episode with Kelly Keefe on how to rise above fear. And I've often talked about fear as well, and that acronym, of FEAR, standing for false evidence appearing real. And I think what's interesting about this time is not all of the evidence is false, right? There are some things that we can be concerned about that actually do exist. And so it brought me back to thinking of a talk I gave a couple of years ago on not leaving culture to chance. And this was within the work context, but I came across the acronym VUCA, which is VUCA. This started as a military term, and it stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And that really is what we are living in. And I kind of made my own little spin on it after my personal experience, which was volatility, uncertainty causing anxiety. So maybe that new definition of VUCA will take hold. So it really can be a good time to think about what is your relationship with change, particularly when things are changing rapidly. That's the volatility. And what is your relationship with uncertainty? Do you really like predictability? Are you flustered by surprise? That's the uncertainty. Can you deal with multiple things happening at the same time? Like things happening at work, at home, in your personal life, in your health. That's the complexity. And then the ambiguity is about what's your relationship with seeing different things, not being able to necessarily identify the true cause and effect. Are you still able to take action? And I think that it's a great time to be thinking about these things and being able to navigate and manage your emotions and feelings during this time. So I mentioned that when my VUCA feeling, that's what I'm going to call it now, when my VUCA feeling came up, I was in a calm, relaxed state. So I was able to feel, like I could feel it in my chest, and I could feel the wave of the emotion, and I was able to ride that wave and not let it take over me. So some things to think about is, how can you get grounded? How can you focus on your breath? In sound bath, it's about gongs and cymbals and singing bowls. So if you can replicate that, or if you can listen to calming music. I've talked a lot about binaural beats on this podcast as well. And really being able to ease into it, not judge yourself for having the feelings, and being able to let it wash over. And if it feels like it's too much, then figuring out where is your lifeline. And in this time of social distancing, it might mean reaching out to a friend or someone that you love and trust, or a coach, a therapist, a counselor, someone that can help you talk through and get out of that rabbit hole that these feelings can cause. So I think we're going to come back to this topic, but I wanted to stay current and relevant and give you some of my personal experience and also share some tips and ideas that can help you and that have worked for me. Let us know, what are you doing to ease your tension, calm your nerves, get grounded, stay relaxed in this VUCA environment? So what is your takeaway from this week's Financial Fridays segment? What might you do differently around your money and your mindset? For more financial advice, you can check out Suki's podcast, Invest Singh, where I also share tips on his Wellness Wednesdays segment. If you enjoyed this episode and haven't already subscribed, you can do so on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Coach_Colette for more inspiration on personal growth and wellness. Tune in next Friday for another episode and get ready to start within to finish strong.